Hello, hello, my friends. I have another dedicated candle review for you today. I am going to apologize in advance for just being so Kringle heavy over the last week on my channel and pretty much leading up into Thursday. It's going to be a little bit Kringle heavy just because I'm trying to get all of the dedicated reviews done for the new reserve launch that is coming up this week. So I do want to thank you guys for being patient with me in that I do actually have another non-Kringle candle to review on my schedule this week. So yeah, I did just want to let you guys know that. So today we are going to be talking about Kringle candle Heartwood. Full disclosure, this candle was sent to me in PR from Kringle Candle. I am a brand ambassador. However, if you have been with me for any length of time, you guys know that that really does not impact my favorability score, I would say, with a lot of these reviews. Yeah, I did just want to disclose that and be transparent with you guys before we get into the meat of this review. I have already covered 4 other candles from this collection. There are a total of 6. So I have already done dedicated reviews on grilled PB&J, caramel cocoa and toasted fluff, gingered peach, and bonfire. So I will have all of those listed and linked in the description box down below in case you missed any of them and are curious to check those out. But let's go ahead and get into this review. This is for Heartwood. This, like all of the other reserve candles, is in the standard 2-wick large tumbler jar. The color is obviously black. It's a transparent black, and we've got a very simple label that just kind of highlights, I guess, it's kind of funny. It's kind of like I feel like the simple labels kind of counteract the more complex conceptual fragrance story that each of these candles are trying to tell. So this candle, like the rest of the reserve candles, was poured on May 21st, 2024. So these are pretty fresh pours. And like I said, with the 100% soy wax, I think that there's some debate, I would say, over whether or not they increase over time if they sit. The other thing that I did want to let you guys know, or you know what, I think I'll touch on that at the end of this video. I'll touch on that at the end of this. But anyways, this is their 100% soy wax formula. It's a white soy wax, very, very clean burning. The fragrance notes on this candle are top notes of sandalwood and green, mid notes of sage and spice, base notes of patchouli and amber. So honestly, you guys, I will tell you that when I got these candles in, I would tell you that just on cold sniff, this fragrance was probably my least favorite. However, I will tell you that, like the last 2 reviews that I have done where I told you like, I wasn't so sure about them on cold, when I lit this candle up, I was like, oh, I actually enjoy this a lot more than what I thought I would. So I know a lot of people sometimes see patchouli and amber and they think, nope, I'm out. Let me tell you guys, while I do detect some of the patchouli note in here, and I mentioned, I think it was in the first sniffs video that I did on this collection, it reminds me a little bit, the patchouli note that I am picking up in here, I believe there was a candle from Homeworks last year called patchouli teakwood or something like that, and it does remind me of that. The patchouli note in here does not really come off as what my friend Melanie would describe as dirty hippie. There is a little bit of earthiness to it, but it's like a softer patchouli type of fragrance. Mixed with that amber, it can come across slightly perfumey, but not in like I sprayed too much perfume on myself perfume. This candle is really for those of you who love, I want to say, more like woodsy type of fragrances, but it's not overly masculine cologne type of fragrance, which is where, particularly when I think of how Bath and Body Works takes on a lot of their masculine fragrances, theirs can come off almost like too musky, too artificial, too deep, I would say, that whole mahogany line. I'm not on board with a lot of that kind of stuff. That's just my own personal fragrance preferences. I know that it's a very popular line and we all have different fragrances. None are better, fragrance preferences. None of them are better or worse than the other. It's just that for me personally, I don't prefer them. This to me There's a little bit of like sweetness to it, which again, I think is some of that like amber. I do get a little bit of sage in here, and the spice note in here does lend some type of warmth to this, but it's not like a gourmand fragrance at all. And it's funny because none of these, the accord is not listed at all in these fragrance notes, but on cold sniff and even upon burn, what fragrance this candle reminds me of is a nice cedar wood, which I personally really like cedar wood, the smell of cedar wood. There's something about this fragrance that honestly kind of reminds me of, I don't know how many of you guys have this, but my grandma passed down like a cedar chest. And there's something about this candle that when I open it up, it reminds me of like opening up that cedar chest. It's very homey, it's comforting. It's not straight up cedar wood. Like I said, there's a little bit of that like amber patchouli base in there, but I think that amber patchouli actually tricks my nose into thinking that it's kind of like a cedar wood type of fragrance. That's really the best way that I could describe it. So if you like cedar wood type of fragrances, I think that you would like this one. And if you tend to like fragrances that are more like I said, natural, that's the best way that I think that I can describe this fragrance. I like it. Is it a fragrance that I would have purchased if I would have like just walked into a store and picked up the candle and smelled it? No, I would have thought it was nice, but I'm like, that's probably not something I would have spent my money on. However, this candle actually pairs really nicely with a lot of fragrances I currently have in my collection. I mentioned in the Bonfire review that the two of them they're very different scents from each other, but they do complement each other if you are the type of person that likes to burn multiple fragrances throughout your home at the same time, but you want fragrances that complement each other as you move from room to room. They definitely pair nicely. I also like this with the Palo Santo and Sage from KRINGLE. I also like this with obviously my Palo Santo and vanilla. I've been burning it a couple of times with Goose Creek's marshmallows. So there's a lot of fragrances that I feel like this pairs nicely with. If you want something that just kind of moves away from all of these standard summer fragrances that we are burning right now, which tend to lean more like coconut, fruity type of scents. This is a really, really nice, like I said earlier in a lot of my other reviews, I think that this whole collection is more geared towards being, in my mind, a summer to fall transitional type of fragrances. All of them are candles that I could definitely see myself starting to burn, primarily as we get towards the end of July, early August, when I am pretty much done with all of the beachy type of fragrances, and yet I'm not quite ready for all of the apple and pumpkin. So this is a very, very nice fragrance. I think it would be nice year round. I could see it working really nicely in the wintertime, in the fall, summer. I mean, it's a very nice year-round fragrance. Let's go ahead and talk about the performance of this candle, because like I've mentioned in the other reviews, and like a lot of my fellow ambassadors are telling you, the wicks on these candles are different from the previous ones. Personally, you guys, I think that there's a lot that goes into the science behind coming up with these wax blends and the fragrance oils and what type of wicks that they're going to need to use. So you can see, you guys, these are some pretty healthy flames on this candle. I have had this candle lit for about an hour and a half. You can see I'm at about the halfway point. So we're not dealing with any dudding out wicks here. Now, I have been trimming the wicks on these candles because the flames are so healthy on these wicks that I feel like if I don't trim them, they're just going to be out of control. So this one, like I think I said that this has been lit for an hour and a half. You can see that there is some carbon balling going on at the top. However, you guys, these wicks are so sturdy that those carbon balls are not going to fall off and into the wax and ruin the fragrance of your candle. If anything, they might create maybe some, I don't even want to say like extra soot, because I haven't really noticed that on these candles. I just noticed that the flames get a little high, and that's really concerning, I would say, especially if you're earlier on in the burn of a candle, meaning like the level of the wax is higher towards the top. You are going to want to be very mindful of that, especially if you burn your candles close. You shouldn't be burning your candles close to anything that are flammable, but like you really want to be aware of it if you have it near like curtains or carpet or like, I don't know, whatever. You just want to be careful about that. So I would say you do want to trim the wicks. I mentioned in the BONFIRE review, I do know that some people want very, very low maintenance candles. And to be truthful with you guys, I think that all candles from all candle brands require some level of minimal maintenance. I figure that there's a lot of other things in my home that require maintenance from me besides candles that take a lot more of my time. Being able to just trim the wicks after the wax hardens, remembering to blow out my candles, or I actually extinguish them with a wick dipper after about 3 hours, is not that hard of a chore for me to remember to do. So I'm not really mad about it, because I will take strong wicks that I need to keep an eye on any day over wicks that get puny and then don't produce the type of strength and throw that I am looking for. Speaking of strength and throw, let's talk about this candle. So I honestly, you guys, this candle I think performs a little bit better in my bedroom than it does in my open concept space. So I do have my home layout listed in the description box down below, as well as my environmental factors, all of that kind of stuff, age of my home, you know, is it open concept? All of that kind of stuff is listed down below. So you guys who have been with me for a while, you guys know that I have an open concept living room that goes into the kitchen, and there's high ceilings in the open concept living room. I will say that the fragrance, while it is noticeable, it doesn't really permeate and throw as well. I'm going to give this one probably about a 6 in terms of strength and throw. It's a medium for me. However, I will say that in my bedroom, it performs really well. It fills up a smaller room very, very nicely. So if you have lower ceilings or more of a closed concept room that you want to burn this in, I think that it will perform really well for you. Truthfully, you guys, cedarwood is a fragrance that, while I enjoy it, if it were an 8 or a 9 in terms of strength and throw, it would probably be headache inducing for me. So I think that, honestly, that where it's at is actually probably perfect, because it's noticeable, but it's not overwhelming. It's not cloying. I know that there's a lot of us who want those fragrances that smack them in the face. Certain fragrances I do, but there are also a lot of fragrances that I acknowledge that if they were any stronger, they would likely not be as pleasant as I think that they would be in my mind. So, yeah, this is a nice fragrance. Is it one that I plan to repurchase? Probably not, you guys. You guys know I'm pretty picky about my criteria for repurchases right now, especially with just me trying to be very intentional about not having a huge candle collection. And I am always trying to prioritize purchasing candles that I can review for all of you. So very few candles make the cut, but that does not mean that it is not a good candle. It is very nice. I am enjoying it a lot more than I thought I would. I will continue to burn it unless one of my friends comes in and tries to poach it off of me. But I probably won't let that happen, because I am actually enjoying this fragrance. So we shall see how this goes moving forward. But I so far am having a very good burn experience with this one, and I'm surprised by how much I am enjoying it. So let me know in the comment box down below, is this a fragrance that you are interested in purchasing? These candles will be available this Thursday, June 20th at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time over on the KRINGLE website. I do have a discount code with KRINGLE. It is Katie15. It will save you 15% off of your purchase at KRINGLE Candle. That is an affiliate discount code that is eligible for commission, so please only use that if you are comfortable doing so. These candles very rarely go on sale, so in fact, I think I've only seen reserve candles on sale once, and it was after this last Christmas season. And even then, you guys, it was fragrances that a lot of people did not really, you know, go wild purchasing. So I do personally believe, I mean, maybe not. I could be totally wrong in this. I don't think that this is one of the fragrances that is a high sellout risk. I do think that the caramel cocoa and toasted fluff, as well as the grilled PB&J, are probably going to be the first two that are highly likely to sell out. And that is just going off of the track record that a lot of the reserve gourmand fragrances tend to sell out pretty quickly. But this one I feel like might linger around. So if you want to see more dedicated reviews, I do know that a couple of fellow ambassadors have done reviews on this one already, so feel free to check out their reviews as well. We can kind of bounce, you know, you can kind of bounce off our reviews off of each other to determine if you really want to purchase this one. But I do want to say thank you very much for tuning into this review today. Please hit thumbs up if you found it helpful. Subscribe to my channel if you're new and you love candle content. And I just want to say that until my next one, I hope you all go out and have a very blessed day. Bye.